To talk about a subject. Here's the thing, when trying to help people, it's very frustrating because you ask for resources and you ask for people on the ground. And when you do this and you say you run a Google search and you ask for nonprofits, you find that these cities, they're like, oh, major funding went towards this shelter and this nonprofit. And so they're the ones you call. They're like, oh no, we're full up. But here's where else you can call. And see, that's great for like us, I guess, because we're the ones that are calling. But when I was homeless, it was very hard because we would go in and you go to these places, and first things first, the reason that they do this is because when you're first homeless, you are immediately typed into subgroups, okay? You are a single woman or single man. You are, hello everybody, you are a single woman with children, or you are a family, or you are a minority group, or you are, and a lot of times people get their funding based on these subtypes. And so what people don't understand is when they start referring the homeless to these nonprofits, they don't understand that because they don't explain a lot of times when they're doing their referrals, that they are not helping necessarily all of the homeless. They're helping a subtype of the homeless. And that gets very frustrating because what it is it's almost a fishing line. They know that they're full. They know that they have no more services to offer. But instead of saying that on their websites, or instead of putting that out there, what they do to continue getting public support, because it's hard, they are helping people. The people that are in their programs are getting bona fide help. My job, Ariel, is a community liaison. I'm an independent contractor for the city of Seattle at this point. And I'm also starting 2 websites. My company called Being, and that's an outreach and education site, and Manda J Photography, which is my photography site. So back to what I'm saying is that nonprofits and outreaches, they do this because the people that they are helping, these are good places and they are really helping people. But when they're full up and they cannot help anybody else, they, instead of saying this, they put out fishing lines because they still need that public support. They still need people to think that they have openings and they have these teams and things like this. So people start saying, oh, well, this is a resource. Send people here, send people here, send people here. And then people go there and they hand them places where they're like, oh, well, we can't help you, but go here. And it continues like that. And this can happen over and over and over and over again. And my point being is it's frustrating being on this side of just an advocate trying to get someone's services. How frustrating is it when on the side of the homeless, and I know how frustrating it is on the side of the homeless. I can tell you right now, it takes about, when you're first homeless, it took me about 3 dead ends before I gave up for about a month and just lost it. But I assume that everybody's a little different when they hit dead ends, so who knows. But hitting those dead ends is really hard. It takes time to go to all these places. It takes time to talk to these people, and these people are not always necessarily nice. And I'll be honest, speaking with some of these people, they can get rude, and it's difficult. And they're even more so to the vulnerable populations that they know they can't do anything about it. So the dead end referrals are a really, really difficult thing to overcome. And part of that issue is the phishing. The advertising on the websites that there are services to be offered when it is known that there aren't. when it is absolutely known that it is full up. And, you see this across the board. Social media, it takes seconds to update a social media page that it's full up, that there's no more services to be offered. But they don't do that because that doesn't look good. And they still want people to come there. And what they do is they refer them to other places. And in essence, that's such a disservice. It's such a disservice to people. It really is. It's really, really hard to keep hitting dead ends. I'm not saying that they're not doing a good job, and I'm not saying that they're not helping the people that they're helping. But I think it's time to be very specific. If you're helping a subtype, list the subtype you're helping. If you're full up, make sure you say you're full up. Speaking to those of us and everybody out there who is not nonprofit and who is not organizationally inclined, or who just wants to help people, whoever you are, it is imperative at this juncture in human history that we have boots on the ground, that we have people who are able to go and be a support system and go to people, and instead of saying, well, where's this somebody? And, well, what happened to this somebody? And where's that somebody? Be that somebody. Help them make the calls. Help them navigate the system. When you become homeless, it's a trauma. When we look at the studies, we find that homelessness is a health emergency. I didn't know until I started studying when I got homed that the mortality rate drops exponentially when you become homeless. 45 to 65. Don't quote me. That's I know it was 40 something to 60 something. And it was frightening because as I read the study in depth, I realized that it wasn't about addiction. It wasn't about any factors other than homelessness, exposure to the elements, living without basic needs. This is a crisis. And to send people to places where the services aren't there, we need to train people in how to use tools. We need to integrate people into our communities. The thing is I find people, and I hear an argument a lot about not wanting homeless in communities. It only takes a home for someone to be not homeless. And make them a part of a community. So isn't that our ultimate goal, is to lift people up? Once someone is homed, they're no longer homeless. And I think that accepting people and teaching people healthy ways to integrate and live is the best way to go about this. And having people that are willing to be that somebody and do that is the best way that we can possibly do this. So, I wanted to come and I wanted to share this frustration a little bit and talk about that, since we're dealing with that in our sphere. And also talk about how important it is as well to get social workers out there. And I want to point out something as well. And this is something that not many people know. Social work and case managers across the homosphere are used kind of interchangeably. And not every social worker gets housing. Not every case manager does the same thing. They all kind of do different things. And a lot of people, when you ask them, especially in the homosphere, do you have a social worker? Do you have a case manager? They'll be like, yeah. But what they don't realize is that's not the right kind of one. And so I think it's imperative that the knowledge isn't, we have just okay, excuse language, it's a clusterfuck. Nobody knows who to go to because so many people are called the same thing, and it is just crazy. It's crazy. There's DSHS, they're all called social workers, but they have nothing to do except approving for benefits. Now, they don't actually search for housing for you. Now, there are other social workers that get you into like coordinated entry where they fill out that for you. But they also don't necessarily search for housing for you. Now, there are case managers that can help you. There's across the board people that do different things, and not all of them have the same information. And so the problem is it's almost like how in the scientific community, how we see how disciplines don't always communicate within one another, so information can be delayed. So if you are a seismologist and there's a biologist and there is a plant being affected by volcanic activity, and somehow there wasn't information being transmitted between the two, information could get delayed about how that was affecting the biological systems. See how I'm saying? Now, it's kind of like that in the human services sphere. There are different, what is the word? They're different spheres, different people, different social workers and different case managers do different things. So there's different specialties, if you would. And so that's where things get a little confusing. And so it's very important for us to know who does what and where they are and how to get the people that need help to the right people, in a timely manner. This is the issue, okay? People are not getting to the people they need to in a timely manner. And we do not have the funding. I mean, here's the issue. Everybody thinks that their skill set is the absolute most important. And in essence, it is whoever is going to get these people into stable housing. That's what is most important. We have to get people into stable housing. We have to get people into stable medical care. This is a health emergency. We have to get people healthy, integrated into communities. To be able to function in a way that benefits ourselves and benefits society. It takes all of us. It takes a little bit of work from the community also to show us how to work together, to show someone how to be accepted, to show people how to relate again, how to connect again, that it's okay again, that it's going to be okay again. These things are important. And we need to teach people that it's okay to ask for help too. So that's what I have to say. And my website that I'm opening up, Being, it's going to be activebeing.org. What I'm going to be doing is talking a lot about education and how we can kind of stem some of the flow of funds by getting people into the services they need from on the ground. Doing that in a timely manner, and maybe by stemming some of the flow into emergency rooms as well, and getting people into social workers and through the hospitals, we can kind of, as it were, kill two birds with one stone. Get people medical care and get people housing, because the social workers through the hospitals are really amazing. And so I think that if we can do that financially as well, we'll be in a great spot. So I have some plans for that. I'm not going to go too in depth. There's a lot that goes into that, and it's been study. So it's kind of amazing to me that, just 5 months ago, hauling firewood under a bridge. It's crazy. It's been quite the ride. And Roro's all chilled out on the couch there. My constant companion. I love her so much. I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.